Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you today with a book haul and maybe a couple of toy cars, some Hot Wheels, and a Matchbox. But anyway, I wanted to come to you with this book haul. These are some books that I found over the last week or so as I've been going in and out of shops and picking stuff up for dirt cheap. I think you'll be proud of me when you hear the prices that I paid. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'll start with the cars and get those over with, just because you guys that have followed the channel, you know I love my Hot Wheels. So anyway, well, Matchbox too. Start with a 1932 Ford Coupe. Thought that was pretty sweet. And then I found a Chevy Bel Air. This is a Big Air Bel Air, so it's like a souped up car. And then last but not least is this Glory Chaser. And I thought that was kind of cool. So added those to my collection. Yeah, that's probably a collection my wife would like to see me not have. I got too many of them. But anyway, let's get into the books, because that's probably why you're here. So we went to the local library in our local town, and the Friends of the Library have a couple of book carts that they have sitting out that you can buy kids' books for 50 cents, adult books for $1. And so I found a couple of items on there that I picked up for $1 each. Thought I did all right. The first one is Tom Brokaw, An Album of Memories, Personal Histories from the Greatest Generation. Now, I have two other books that go with this Greatest Generation series, and thoroughly enjoyed them. Or I've read the first one. I did not read the second one yet. I read the first one on the way to vacation. We were traveling to Texas, and it was a good way to eat up some time. That's been a while though. But this comes from Random House trade paperbacks from New York, and it's a 2001 book. And so I'll read this to you. In this beautiful American family album of stories from the greatest generation, the history of life as it was lived during the Depression and World War II comes alive and is preserved in people's own words. Photographs and timelines also commemorate important dates and events. An Army Air Corps veteran who enlisted in 1941 at the age of 17 writes to describe the Bataan Death March. A black nurse tells of her encounter with wartime segregation. Other members of the greatest generation describe their war in such historic episodes as Guadalcanal, the D-Day invasion, the Battle of the Bulge, and Midway, as well as their lives on the home front, starting with the Depression and Pearl Harbor, moving on through the war years in Europe and in the Pacific and at home. This unique book preserves a people's rich historical heritage and the legacy of a nation's heroism in war and its courage in peace in the shaping of their lives and of the world we have today. And I don't know about you guys, I always like kind of reading these. They're just usually a few pages long, but it's just a snapshot into the lives of those people that were living during the time period. And I like doing that and comparing it to today. And it always makes me wonder, could our generation today get through another World War II? I don't know. Special group of people. So that was one book I picked up for $1. And then here's the other one. And I was pumped. And this one's taking me back to my childhood. And many of you will be taken back to your childhood. Bo Knows Bo. Pretty famous, iconic photo that they took. It was on one of the baseball cards. It was a score baseball card. And I always loved that card. I thought it was awesome. I even went so far as to do one of my high school senior pictures with this pose. Now, obviously, I didn't look like, the ripped, muscled Bo Jackson. But anyway, it was fun. So anyway, Bo Knows Bo, Bo Jackson and Dick Shapp. And it's basically just a biography of Bo Jackson. I'm a Bo Jackson fan. And so I was pretty pumped to see it. This is from Doubleday out of New York, and it's a 1989 book, it looks like. So yeah, happy to have that. Goes well with my baseball collections. All right, so the next stack of books I got at our local community center, and the way that they do theirs is it's 25 cents a book, or as many as you can get into like a plastic Walmart sack. for $1. So it's either 25 cents a book or however many you can get in the sack for $1. Now, I got my stack of books here, and then my wife picked up a few books, so we ended up spending $2 all together. But as you'll see, I think I got my money's worth. I don't know. You let me know. So the first one that I found was The Forgotten Man by Amity Schlaese. Hopefully I'm saying that last name right. A New History of the Great Depression. And so this is a History of the Great Depression. It's in large font. I did not actually realize that when I first picked it up, which is okay, not a big deal, but it'll be different than most of my books because I don't usually pick up large font books. But this is a 2007 book, and it is from HarperCollins. And so, History of the Great Depression. Looking forward to dipping into that. Next two books that I picked up are actually for my classroom, and I have never read this series of books before, so I'm kind of going out on a limb. I just figured it was kids' historical books, and so I just thought I'd try it. But Rush Revere and the Presidency. And this is Time Travel Adventures with Exceptional Americans. So this is Rush Limbaugh's series of books that he's done. They're his history books. And I think it's kind of neat. Any of the people who've been making these history books, Rush Limbaugh has some, and there's several other series out there. And I just think it's neat how they're trying to make kids connect with history. And if you've never seen these books before, it's all color photos and stuff like that. It's a pretty heavy stock paper. They're a quality book. And anyway, it's from Threshold Editions out of New York. And this particular volume is 2016. And I'll read the cover for you, and you'll get kind of an idea of what this is like. So hey there, young readers. Rush Revere here. I can't wait to rush to history with our next adventure. A trip back in time to the first days of our country on its own two legs, free from British rule. What's that? Liberty? Liberty wants me to say on its own four legs. So I believe Liberty's the name of his horse. Anyway, as I was saying, free from British rule and creating a new government for the people, by the people. When one of the time-traveling crew from Manchester Middle School decides to run for student body president, I take them back to meet our first three presidents and first ladies. So join us as we head back to those amazing and important first years when we got to make all the decisions. Turns out it's pretty hard to lead a whole new country. We had to make new rules for America and set the path for the country we would grow up to be. And who better to be our first ever leader than the general who won the war, George Washington. He was the father of our country and made some incredible decisions that still affect how we live our lives today. But even so, President Washington knew that he couldn't stay president forever, or we might end up with a king, just like England. We'll watch as he makes his tough decision to step down to spend more time with Martha Washington and his adopted grandchildren, Nellie and Wash. Then we'll saddle up and ride into the presidency of John Adams, who followed in some very big footsteps with the help of accomplished wife Abigail. Then we'll rush to the year 1803 when Thomas Jefferson continues the mission of creating America by making a risky decision to buy a lot of land from the French in the Louisiana Purchase, which more than doubles our size. Using advice from the early presidents, first ladies, and a former U.S. congressman, the crew works to defeat an old nemesis. The question is, will it be enough? What are you waiting for? Bring your curiosity and let's giddy up. So anyway, I think these are kind of cute books. I don't know if they're, I got to look at the actual age level, if it's for middle school or upper elementary. It's got enough text in it. It's probably good enough for middle school, but I've never read these before. If you've read them, let me know what you think. Are they a little too silly, or are they done pretty well? And then the next one is another Rush Revere. It's Rush Revere and the First Patriots, Time Travel Adventures with Exceptional Americans. And this one's all about Boston Tea Party, as you can see on the front cover. So I won't read this one to you, but it is from the year 2014. And again, it comes from Threshold Books. So pretty excited to see where that goes. Nothing like getting the kids into the history. All right, so the next couple of books. Well, no, let's finish off the last history book that I found. This one I paid $1 for. Now the sticker says $2, but it was half off day at the store. So this is just one of those old history books that you would find in schools or libraries. And this is The Many Faces of the Civil War by Irvin Werstein. And in my opinion, you can never have too many books on the Civil War. And plus, I like these old books for some reason. They bring back memories for me. This is Julian Messner Incorporated out of New York. And this one goes clear back to the year 19... The original was 61. This printing is 1962. So, another nice Civil War history. All right, so the next couple of books, these are mysteries, and I probably will read these. I might get to one of them early, but the next two volumes I'm saving for March next year, for March Mystery Madness. But this is Mrs. Jeffries Defends Her Own, a Victorian mystery by Emily Brightwell. And I am not familiar with these at all. It's like, I think it's one of the cozy type mysteries, but inside cover says, "Bad business. When the general office manager of Sutcliffe Manufacturing is murdered, no one is really surprised. Ronald Dearman was anything but a dear man. The tyrannical bully had more than enough enemies to go around, but who hated him enough to walk into his office and put a bullet between his eyes? For once, Inspector Gerald Witherspoon doesn't get the case. It's given to another inspector. Then someone from Mrs. Jeffries' past, someone she'd hoped never to see again, shows up and begs for her help. Now, Mrs. Jeffries must step into the fray and stop a terrible miscarriage of justice." And so this is Mrs. Jeffries Defends Her Own. And it looks like, again, I'm not familiar with this, but there are a lot of these Mrs. Jeffries mysteries. And this is from Berkeley Prime Crime out of New York, and it is a 2012 book. And so I think it sounded like kind of a cute little mystery, so that'll be fun. Now, this could be maybe the find of the day, or I don't know, maybe it's the dud of the day. I don't usually pick up anthologies, or so you're gonna have to help me, BookTube. Was this a good grab? This is A Treasury of Great Mysteries, and it's edited by Howard Haycraft and John Beecroft. It has 4 full-length novels, 5 novelettes, and 10 short stories, and it's done in this nice 2-volume set. You notice the pictures on the spine. They come together. I thought that was kind of a neat find. It had Agatha Christie in there, and that was the one name I recognized. Most of you will probably recognize some of the other names. I just probably don't read enough to. But it has Earl Stanley Gardner, Edgar Wallace, George Simeon, Patrick Quentin, Mary Roberts Reinhardt, John Dixon Carr, Ellery Queen, Marjorie Allingham, William Irish, Eric Ambler, Raymond Chandler, Dorothy Sayers. I recognize that one. Leslie Charteris, Guy O'Marsh, Rex Stout, Craig Rice and Stuart Palmer, Carter Dixon, and Daphne du Maurier, which I recognize that name also. Never read the stuff, but I do recognize the name. So anyway, that gives you kind of an idea of who all is in this anthology. It is from Simon & Schuster out of New York, and it's a 1957 set of books. The only thing that I had an issue with was the covers on these, especially, let's see, it was volume 1 especially, and you probably can't see it real well on there, but there was all kinds of tears and stuff in the cover. Matter of fact, this whole back flap was torn completely off, and so I had to go do a little book repair because that was just going to bug me to death. But I went and bought some tape and put it all back together. Hopefully you think I did an all right job. It should last a few extra readings because of that. But anyway, tell me what you think. Did I do an all right job? picking that up. Was that a smart find? And again, I plan on using this for March Mystery Madness. I'm going to maybe dip in and out of that when that time comes. So here, I'm not going to stack them individually. I'll just lift them. Aye! There is my book haul over the last week. What do you think? Did I do an all right job? Again, I probably spent maybe, $3 for the whole stack. So I thought that was pretty darn good. So let me know what you think, BookTube. Is there anything in there that you especially like? Is there anything that you didn't like? Let me know. I hope everyone's having a great week. We've had rain here the last day or so, and we badly needed rain. My yard is burnt up because I mowed it expecting rain, and rain never came early on in the week, and everything got yellow and brown. And this rain has greened everything back up again. So I'll be mowing soon, but at least we got some rain. I know the garden needed it. The garden's loving it. Picked my first cucumber, by the way. Great big old thing. I was pretty excited about that. The only problem is now the sun has come back out and it is hot and muggy. So anyway, BookTube, that just gives me more reason to stay inside and do some more reading. What are you guys reading today? So thank you for watching, and until next time, happy reading.